Welcome, everyone. Today we are going to dive into the Bills of Exchange Act of 1961, specifically focusing on what makes an instrument valid or invalid as a bill of exchange in Ghana. Let's start with the basics. According to Section 1, subsection 2, if an instrument doesn't meet specific conditions, it simply isn't a bill of exchange. It must be an unconditional order in writing, directing someone to pay a specific, certain sum of money, and nothing else.
What do we mean by an unconditional order? It means you can't attach strings to the payment. You can't say, pay this if you have the funds, or pay this if the goods don't break. However, you are allowed to mention which account to debit or note the transaction that caused the bill. That doesn't break the rule.
Next, the order must be written down. An oral command won't cut it. Also, it has to be for money and money only. You can't ask someone to pay in cash or an equivalent amount of fish. Finally, the amount must be exact. You can't leave it up to inspiration, though you can include interest or set installment plans.
What if you tie the payment to a future event that might or might not happen? Section 9.2 says that making a bill payable on a contingency makes it invalid. Even if that unlikely event actually happens later, the bill remains invalid because the order wasn't unconditional from the start.
Now, what if there are multiple people ordered to pay, known as drawees? You can address a bill to multiple drawees jointly, but you cannot address them in the alternative or in succession. Why? Because it creates uncertainty about who is actually responsible for paying. Interestingly, you can't have multiple payees in the alternative, like pay John or Jane.
Sometimes a bill is incomplete, which we call an inchoate bill. Maybe it's missing the date, the value, or the location. Does that make it void? No. Section 1.4 saves it. In fact, Section 18 gives the person holding the bill the authority to fill in those missing details within a reasonable time.
If a bill is supposed to be paid a certain number of days after the date, but the date is missing, Section 10 allows the holder to write in the true date. And here's a safety net. If a wrong date is accidentally written in good faith and it gets passed to a holder in due course, the bill is still perfectly valid and operates based on that written date.
Let's cover a few more rules. A bill can explicitly state it is non-transferable. It's still valid between the original parties, just not negotiable. What if the amount in words doesn't match the numbers? The law says the words win. And finally, dating a bill in the past, the future, or even on a Sunday doesn't ruin its validity.
To wrap up, remember that a bill of exchange must be a clear, unconditional, written order for a specific amount of money. While major flaws like contingencies or alternative drawees will invalidate it, the law is quite forgiving with minor omissions like missing dates or mismatched numbers. Keep these principles in mind, and you'll master the Bills of Exchange Act.